Hey y'all, it's Veronica from JW Game Central doing a video on Bible Scattergories as promised. So just going to go over quickly what you receive with the physical copy, and I am in the middle of creating a digital copy. This is an example of one of the cards for it. So again, I'll go over what you'll receive with the digital copy. So with the physical game, you will receive, of course, these cards, but it's an actual deck of cards. There's 10 in the deck, and each card has 5 categories on it. You also receive a letter die. So the thing I like about this die versus a traditional Scattergories die is this has all of the letters. In traditional Scattergory die, it has 20 to 21 letters. But this has all 26 letters in the alphabet, and also has 4 wild. So if you draw a wild, then you get to pick the letter. Excuse me. So you'll get the cards, the die, and then you also receive 5 of these notepads that give you plenty of space for writing. And of course, rules. For the digital version, you will receive all 10 cards, looking similar to this, but probably in a PDF file, because that seems to be easier to share across devices. And then I will list in your download a couple of websites where you can go to get a Scattergories dice. This one is my favorite. It's rollthedice.online, and they have dice for several games, but they specifically have a Scattergories die. Unlike the traditional Scattergories die, though, this one also has all 26 letters. This website also has a timer, so because you do need a timer for this game. Most people have their phones, but just in case someone's using their phone for something else, this website does have a timer. So, for playing. The way Scattergories is played is you and whoever you're playing with are trying to come up with an answer for each one of these categories on each card using whichever letter you have rolled. So I've done just a quick write-up of what it will look like for this card if I was to choose the letter O. So ignore the scratches because I will explain those in a minute. So, category number 1 was prophet. So I put Obadiah. Number 2, animal acceptable for sacrifice, and ox. Branch location. So I'm going to explain a little bit about what's going on here later, but I put only one I live near is Walk Hill. For patriarch, I put obedient Abraham. Again, I will explain. And then for tree, I put olive. So the main goal of Scattergories is you are trying to have unique answers. You want to write down something that you don't think other people are going to write down. Because if you do have the same answer as someone else, then you will do, as I have done here, which is scratch it out, meaning you get no credit for it. So, in this game, the odds of someone choosing Obadiah, ox, and olive are pretty high. So, you actually will find that it is an advantage when you can't think of something that starts with that exact location. And the reason is, it's all explained in the rules. I hope that I don't confuse anyone as I say this. But for Bible Scattergories, I have discovered that for some letters, there are legitimately no options. X, for example. Of course, I never play X because there's no options for anything. But Y, I've had issues with. I, as in Isaac, I've had issues with. So there are just certain letters that not a lot of names in the Bible or locations in the Bible start with that. Not particularly for these categories anyway. So what you can do is get creative. Use adjectives, use descriptors that start with the letter. And you can still get credit for them. So if you put obedient Abraham, and no one else puts any variation of that includes Abraham, then you would get credit for obedient. If someone comes up with a location that does start with an O, I almost put Ontario, but I don't think the branch is there. I think it's in Toronto, but I could be wrong. if someone does come up with a legitimate option, then you do have to scratch, unfortunately. But if everyone has done like you have done, because it's one of those letters that's just really tricky, but no one has put your exact location, then you get credit for each O word that you use. So in this case, I used 2 O words. I put only 1, which is redundant, but so I got credit for 3 of my options, but you'll see none of them were the actual O words. So I know it's a little confusing, takes a little practice, but in general, 3 game nights that I have forced my friends to do. The first one, it took a couple of the more competitive people a minute to get it, but once they did, it was on, and they love it, and now they ask to play it at every game night. So Scattergories, just like traditional Scattergories, it can be a lot of fun. It can lead to a lot of shenanigans because you're always curious as to what other people will write. But definitely with Bible Scattergories, you have to be creative. You have to be ready to use those adjectives, descriptors, and just get really creative with your answers. And I hope that you guys get your copy. I hope that you enjoy, and I will post this video in all of the appropriate places on my website, on YouTube. I'll post it on Instagram, and then I will let everyone know when I have the digital version available. Have a great day.